Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a reading from the new Sri Krishna Caitanya Book by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on June 25th, 2020 in Sridham, Mayapur, India.
Vakakarodivāchalam Pangalangayathegaram Yathivājavahan Vande Sri Gurum Nidatarinam Paramanandamādhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Hare Om Tat Sat. So before we begin our class on Chaitanya Leela, we would like to request all the devotees to please pray for His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami.
To please pray for His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami,
That if the Lord pleases, He may Lord Nrsingadev Bhakta Prahlad Panchatattva Radha
may Lord Nrsingadev Bhakta Prahlad Panchatattva Radha Madhav
Astasaki Radha Mayapur Chandra,
Radha Madhav Ashtashaki Mayapur Chandra,
that Bhakti Charu Maharaj may, if they so please, that he may recover and go back to us for preaching and leading the Sankirtan movement.
that Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj may recover and come back to us
For preaching and leading the Sankirtan
for
movement.
preaching and leading the Sankirtan movement.
You see, we're also concerned that
You see, we are also concerned that
a very senior devotee in the ISKCON India,
a very senior devotee in the ISKCON India, Surdas,
was the head of the Mumbai project.
who is the head of the Navi Mumbai project,
He is also in ICU with the COVID-19.
he is also in the ICU with the COVID-19.
So, everybody should be very careful
So devotees should be very careful
because if one gets it,
because if one gets it,
it spreads to the community.
it spreads very quickly
To the community,
through the community
because we don't think about it.
because we don't think about it.
We should be very careful.
We should be very careful
Wear masks in public.
in the mass and the public.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
It can be life and death.
It could be life and death.
I have many disciples have written that their husbands and
I've-
fathers have died.
I have many disciples who have written that their husbands, their mothers and fathers who have died.
So we're seeing that in Bangladesh,
So we are seeing that in Bangladesh,
one brahmachari gets it, all the brahmachari got it.
one brahmachari gets it, all the brahmachari got it.
Because they're very careless about
Because they are very careless about
associating with each other.
associating with each other.
So you have to be careful while this pandemic is going on.
So we have to be careful while this pandemic is going on.
And whether people observe or not,
Whether other people observe or not,
we should be very careful.
we should be very careful.
We don't want to give it to anyone else.
We don't want to give it to anyone else. Shri Gaura Hari performs the funeral ceremony along with his associates.
চৈতন্য ভাগবত মধ্যখণ্ড সগণ প্রভু কর্তৃক মৃতের সৎকার সর্বগণ সহপ্রভু বালক লইয়া চলিলেন গঙ্গা তীরে কীর্তন করিয়া।
Lord Gauranga took the dead body of the boy
Lord Gauranga took the dead body of the boy
along with his associates
along with his associates
and went to the bank of the Ganges,
and went to the bank of the Ganges,
chanting in kirtan.
chanting the kirtan.
Jayapataka.
শোক শতান। মৃত্যু শিশু লয়ে তবে ভকত বৎসল ভকত সঙ্গেতে গায় শ্রীনাম মঙ্গল।
Lord Chaitanya, who is so affectionate to his own devotees, then took the dead boy and along with all the devotees began to chant the most auspicious sound vibration of the holy names.
So it's necessary
So it is necessary
to perform final rites,
to perform final rites.
and he took the boy to the side of the Ganges
And he took the boy to the site of the Ganges
to perform these final rites.
to perform his final rites.
And he and all his associates
He and all his associates
were chanting the holy name
were chanting the holy names
and kirtan.
and in the kirtan.
So, with great affection for his devotees,
With great affection to his devotees,
he is performing these final rites.
he is performing these final rites.
গাইতে গাইতে গেলা জাহ্নবীর তীরে বালকে সৎকার কইল জাহ্নবীর নীরে।
Thus, singing and singing, they all arrived on the bank of the Ganga, the Jhannavi. Then they performed the proper funeral rites with some water from the Ganga.
By placing some water
By placing some water
on the holy river Ganges
from the holy river Ganges
on the head of the departed soul,
on the head of the departed soul
of the body,
of the body,
the soul is blessed
the soul is blessed
and will attain the spiritual world.
and will attain the spiritual world.
So it's very auspicious to have the funeral rites performed on the brink of the Ganges.
So it is very auspicious to have the funeral rite performed in the bank of the Ganges.
জাহ্নবী বলেন মম সৌভাগ্য অপার সফল হইল ব্রত ছিল যে আমার।
Sri Jhannavi Devi then appeared herself and said, "Such unlimited auspicious fortune has become mine today. Now I have achieved the successful fruits of all the vows and penances I had undertaken."
মৃত্যু শিশু দেন গোরা জাহ্নবীর জলে উত্থিল জাহ্নবী দেবী শিশু লয় কোলে।
Then Lord Chaitanya personally put the boy's body into the river. Immediately thereafter, Jhannavi Devi picked up the body and took him on her lap.
উথলিয়া পর্শে গোরা চরণ কমল শিশু কোলে প্রেমে দেবী হয় টলমল।
Bringing the dead body out of the water, she touched the lotus feet of Lord Gaura. With the body still on her lap, she began to tremble in ecstatic love for the Lord.
জাহ্নবীর ভাব দেখি যত ভক্তগণ শ্রীনাম মঙ্গল ধ্বনি করে অনুক্ষণ।
Seeing such an ecstatic mood being exhibited by Sri Jahnavi Devi, all the assembled devotees there immediately began chanting the auspicious holy names incessantly.
It's very rare to see the deity of the Ganges.
So it is very rare to see the deity of the Ganges.
According to the Shastras,
According to the Shastras,
all the holy rivers and holy tirthas
all the holy rivers and the holy tirthas
have personalities.
have personalities.
So the Ganges also has a personality.
So the Ganges also has her personality,
Known as Jahnavi Devi or Ganga Devi,
known as Jahnavi Devi or Ganga Devi.
but it's very rare to see her.
But it is very rare to see her.
And, but now all the associates of Lord Chaitanya are seeing Jahnavi Devi.
But now all the associates of Lord Chaitanya are seeing Jahnavi Devi.
She's taking the dust, the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu,
She is taking the dust from the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu,
and she's carrying the body of the boy.
and she is carrying the body of the boy.
So it's a very auspicious, incomparable situation.
So this is a very auspicious, incomparable situation.
That's why the devotees suddenly began to chant the holy name. They're overwhelmed in ecstasy.
That's why the devotee, suddenly getting the chance to chant the holy name, were overwhelmed with ecstasy.
Haribo, Haribo, Haribo.
স্বর্গ হইতে দেবে করে পুষ্প বরিশন, বিমান সংকুল তবে ছাইল গগন।
From the heavens, the demigods began to shower flowers like rainfall. They crowded in the sky, almost blocking out the sunlight with their innumerable airplanes.
The planetary systems are visible to the residents of the earth.
The three planetary systems are visible to the residents of the earth:
Sarga, Bhuvarloka, and Bhuloka.
the Bhurloka, Bhurloka, and Swargaloka.
So the demigods come from the Swargaloka.
So the demigods, they come from the Swargaloka.
They came to see this activity of the Supreme Lord and his avatars.
They came to see
Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
They came to see the activities of the Supreme Lord in his avatara as Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu,
With the dead body of Srivasa's son.
with the dead body of Srivasa's son.
And how the Ganges personified
How the Ganges personified
is picking up the dead body,
is bringing up the dead body,
touching the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya.
touching the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya.
Or even the celestial beings
So even the celestial beings
are ecstatic in seeing these activities.
are ecstatic in seeing these activities,
They're raining down flowers.
and they were raining down flowers.
So many crowd the sky that their airplanes almost blocked the sunlight.
So many
Crowded the sky
crowded the sky
that they almost blocked out the sunlight.
that they almost blocked out the sunlight.
যথোচিত ক্রিয়া করি কইলা গঙ্গা শান, কৃষ্ণ বলি সবে গৃহে করিলা প্রয়াণ।
After performing all the specified
After performing all the specified
activities, rituals,
activities, rituals
for the final rites of the
for the final rites of the
dead son of Sri Vas.
the dead son of Srivas.
They all took a bath in the Ganges,
They all took the bath in the Ganges
chanting the holy name of Krishna.
while chanting the holy names of Krishna.
And then they returned to their homes.
Then they returned to their homes.
এই রূপে নানাভাবে হইয়া মগন সৎকার করিয়া শান কইল সর্বজন.
In this way, everyone on all sides was absorbed in various ecstasies. After performing the funeral rites, they all took their bath in the Ganga.
So there's some specific rituals
So there are some specific rituals
which are to be performed
which has to be performed
when the body is cremated.
when the body is cremated.
Afterwards, it said everyone should take their bath.
And afterward it is said that everyone should take their bath.
So since they were there on the side of the Ganges,
Since they were on the side of the
they
Ganges,
took the bath in the holy river Ganges.
they took their bath in the holy river Ganges.
Being overwhelmed by the ecstatic situation,
Being overwhelmed by the ecstatic situation,
they all began to chant
they all began to chant
the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
And that they continued to chant as they went home, to their homes.
And then they continued to chant and they went back to home. And went back to their homes.
চৈতন্য ভাগবত মধ্যখণ্ড. প্রভু ভক্তগণ সবে গেলা নিজ ঘর শ্রীবাসের গোষ্ঠী সব হইলা বিহল.
Lord Gauranga and his associates,
Lord Gauranga and his associates, devotees,
all returned to their own houses.
all returned to their own houses.
Srivas's family became overwhelmed in spiritual ecstasy.
Srivasa's family became overwhelmed with spiritual ecstasy.
পরম আনন্দ সবে গেল নিজ ঘরে ভকতি বিনোদ মজে গোরা ভাব ভরে.
In great happiness, everyone then returned to their respective homes, and Bhakti Vinoda is now completely immersed in the transcendental ecstasy of Lord Gaurasundara.
So the death of a boy in the family
So the death of a boy in a family,
is normally a matter of lamentation.
it is normally a matter of lamentation.
But the way that things transpired,
But the way the things transpired,
it was very auspicious.
it was very auspicious.
And the fact of Lord Chaitanya
But the fact that Lord Chaitanya
brought the boy back to life,
brought the boy back to life,
and he was speaking on the absolute platform,
and he was speaking from the absolute platform,
talking about the truths of transmigration
telling about the truths of transmigration
of the soul
of the soul
to the performance of the final rites in the Ganges
to the,
side,
to the performance of the final rites in the Ganges site,
and how normally
and how normally the
body is bathed in the Ganges water
body is bathed in the Ganges water
and then cremated.
and then cremated.
When Lord Chaitanya took the body in the Ganges,
But when Lord Chaitanya took the body in the Ganges
itself came and picked up the body of the boy
itself came and picked up the body of the boy herself.
And then she touched the lotus feet of Lord Gaura,
And she touched the lotus feet of Lord Gaura.
and she declared that
And she declared that
now my life is successful.
Now my life is successful.
So, and they cremated the body,
And so they cremated the body,
and everyone was, in their heart, was filled with love of Krishna.
but everyone was in their heart was filled with love of Krishna.
And they were feeling great ecstasy.
And they are feeling great ecstasy.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur,
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur,
he also
he's also
was immersed in the transcendental ecstasies
was immersed in the transcendental ecstasies
of Lord Gaura Sundar's pastime.
of Lord Gaura Sundar's pastimes. Thus ends the chapter. Sri Gaura Hari performs the funeral ceremony along with his associates. Falashruti. The result of hearing the pastime of the dispelling of grief.
গুরু চৈতন্যলার ফলশ্রুতি এইসব নিগুড় কথা যে করে শ্রবণ অবশ্য মিলিবে তারে কৃষ্ণ প্রেম ধন।
Those who hear
So those who hear
the confidential topics,
the confidential topics,
these confidential topics, certainly will receive a wealth of pure love for Krishna.
the wealth of pure love for Krishna.
গৌর নিতাইয়ের পুত্ররূপে শ্রীবাসের সেবা গ্রহণ শ্রীবাসের চরণে রুহক নমস্কার গৌরচন্দ্র নিত্যানন্দ নন্দন যাহার।
I offer my respectful obeisances
I offer my respectful obeisances
at the lotus feet of Srivas
at the lotus feet of Srivas
Thakur,
Thakur,
whose sons were Gaurachandra and Nityananda.
whose sons were Gaurachandra and Nityananda. Sri Gaura and Nityananda accepted Srivasa's service as his sons.
এইসব অদ্ভুত সেই নবদ্বীপে হয় ভক্তের পতিত হয় অভক্তের নয়।
These wonderful pastimes
These wonderful pastimes
took place in Navadvip Dham.
took place in Navadvip Dham.
The devotees accept all these
The devotees accept all this
as real,
as real,
but the non-devotees
but the non-devotees
may not have faith.
do not have faith.
Lord Chaitanya was performing various pastimes in Navadvip Dham.
So Lord Chaitanya was performing various pastimes in Navadvip Dham,
And the devotees were enjoying all these pastimes.
and the devotees were enjoying all these pastimes,
And they are overwhelmed in spiritual ecstasy.
and they were overwhelmed in spiritual ecstasy.
But the non-devotees,
But the non-devotees,
they may not understand anything about
they may not understand anything about
these transcendental pastimes.
these transcendental pastimes.
মধ্যখণ্ডে পরম অপূর্ব সব কথা মৃত্যু শিশু তত্ত্বজ্ঞান কহিলেন যথা।
In the Chaitanya Bhagavat,
In the Chaitanya Bhagavat,
this part of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes
this part of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes,
known as the Madhyakanda.
known as the Madhya Kanda,
And so
the
discussions are most extraordinary.
and the discussion is most extraordinary.
How a dead child is sticking on spiritual truths.
How the dead child is speaking on spiritual truths.
Is included among the pastimes that occurred
Is
in
included
Navadvip.
among the pastimes that occurred
There.
in Navadvip.
হেনমতে নবদ্বীপে শ্রী গৌর সুন্দর বিহরয়ে সংকীর্তন সুখে নিরন্তর.
In this way, Sri Gaurasundara
In this way, Sri Gaura Sundara
experienced the Sankirtan, the happiness of the Sankirtan Leela
experienced the happiness from the Sankirtan Leela
and Navadvip
in Navadvip
continuously.
continuously.
The pastime of Lord Chaitanya,
So, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya
after he took initiation in Gaya,
sorry Guru Maharaj.
after he took initiation in Gaya,
After he took initiation in Gaya
Ishwarpuri Maharaj
from Ishwarapuri Maharaj,
returned to Navadvip.
returned to Navadvip.
He was in the mood of devotional service.
He was in the mood of devotional service
He started the Sankirtan movement in
And-
Navadvip.
and started the Sankirtan movement in Navadvip.
These pastimes are very blissful,
So these pastimes are very blissful
and they show the importance of congregationally chanting the holy names.
It shows the importance of congregationally chanting the holy name.
So these pastimes of Lord Chaitanya
So these pastimes of Lord Chaitanya
completely bestow unlimited mercy on the conditioned souls.
completely bestows unlimited mercy on the conditioned souls.
Mayapur.
নদিয়া নগরে গোরা চরিত অমৃত পিয়া শোক ভয় ছাড়ো স্থির করো চিত্ত.
The activities and behavior of Lord Gaura Sundara within the villages around Nadia district are just like sweet ambrosial nectar. By drinking this nectar, just give up all your material lamentations and fears and make your heart become thus fixed up.
অনিত্য সংসার ভাই কৃষ্ণ মাত্র সার গোরা শিক্ষা মতে কৃষ্ণ ভজ নিবার.
Within this temporary material world, my friends, the only substantial essence of absolute truth is Lord Krishna. Therefore, kindly take heed of Lord Chaitanya's advice and just worship Krishna constantly.
Hear that the actual purpose of human life
Hear that the actual purpose of human life
is to worship Lord Krishna
is to worship Lord Krishna
constantly.
constantly.
It is revealed by Lord Chaitanya.
It is being revealed by Lord Chaitanya.
If the human beings would do that,
If the human beings do that,
they could transform this planet to a spiritual atmosphere.
they could transform this planet to a spiritual atmosphere.
So all the fears and dangers of the ordinary material life
All the fears and the dangers of ordinary material life
will disappear.
will disappear.
And one can be completely absorbed in ecstatic love of Lord Krishna.
And one will be completely absorbed in the ecstatic love for Lord Krishna,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
গোরার চরণ ধরি সেই ভাগ্যবান, ব্রজে রাধা কৃষ্ণ ভজে সেই মর প্রাণ।
Whoever understands this and thereby firmly grabs hold of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet is most fortunate, and if he worships Sri Sri Radha Krishna in Vrindavan, then I will accept him as my very life soul.
রাধা কৃষ্ণ গোরাচাঁদ নদে বৃন্দাবন, এই মাত্র করসার পাবে নিত্য ধন।
Their lordships Sri Sri Radha Krishna and are none other than the self same Lord Gaura Sundara, and Sri Navadvip Dhama is that very same Vrindavana Dhama. If you consider this as the only essential point, then you will rightfully receive some eternal treasures.
This is the secret that
This is the secret that
Lord Krishna, Radha Krishna had their pastimes in Vrindavan.
Radha Krishna have their pastimes in Vrindavan,
And they combined together as Sri Gaura Sundar.
as Sri Gaura Sundar,
And he had his pastimes in Navadvip.
and he has his pastimes in Navadvip.
And Navadvip and Vrindavan are not different.
And Navadvip and Vrindavan is non-different.
If someone understands this,
If someone understands this,
they can achieve the highest treasure of life.
and they can achieve the highest treasure of life.
বিদ্যা বুদ্ধিহীন অকিঞ্চন ছাড়, কর্ম জ্ঞান শূন্য আমি শূন্য সদাচার।
Actually, I am completely devoid of any real knowledge or good intelligence. Indeed, I am most lowly, insignificant and contemptible. I am also certainly without the slightest trace of good karma or philosophical understanding, and I am completely bereft of any virtuous behavior.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur is humbling himself before the Lord.
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is humbling himself before the Lord.
শ্রী গুরু বৈষ্ণব মরে দিলেন উপাধি, ভক্তিহীনে উপাধি হইল এবে ব্যাধি।
All the assembled Vaishnavas, who I consider to be just like my spiritual master, have given me this title of Bhakti Vinoda, but because I am actually totally devoid of any trace of devotion, this title has simply become like a painful disease for me.
Here, Thakur Bhaktivinoda
Here Thakur Bhaktivinod
is showing us how we should be humble
is showing us how we should be humble
and beg for the mercy at the feet of the Vaishnavas.
and beg for the mercy at the feet of the Vaishnavas.
যতন করিয়া সে ব্যাধি নিবারণে, শরণ লইনু আমি বৈষ্ণব চরণে।
Taking great care to check the spreading of this disease, I have taken refuge at the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas.
বৈষ্ণবের পদরজ মস্তকে ধরিয়া, এ শোক শতান গায় ভক্তি বিনোদিয়া।
Taking the dust of the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas upon my head, this lowly Bhakti Vinoda thus sings the story called Shuk Shatan, the dispelling of grief.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur sang the pastime of the passing away of Sridhas Pandit's son.
So Bhakti Vinod Thakur is singing the pastimes of passing away of Srivas Thakur's son,
And how Lord Chaitanya dispelled the grief
and how Lord Chaitanya dispelled the grief
and accepted Sri Thakur founded as his father.
and accepted Srivas Thakur as his father.
So this, by hearing this pastime,
So by hearing this pastime,
having faith in it,
having faith in it,
we get the wealth of pure love of Krishna.
we can get the wealth of pure love of Krishna. Thus ends the chapter. The result of hearing the pastimes of the dispelling of grief under the section The Dispelling of Grief in Srivas Thakura's House.
Don't forget to pray for His Holiness Bhakti Swami,
Don't forget to pray for His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami
for the other devotees who are affected,
and for all the other devotees who are affected.
and thank you for participating in the virtual Rath Yatra.
Thank you for participating in the virtual Rath Yatra,
Thank you to those who have
and thank you
sent me their realizations.
and thank you for those who have sent me their realizations.
I'm still waiting for other realizations.
I am still waiting for other realizations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.